Alexis and I sat very still on a rock in a far corner of my Aunt Mamie and Auntie Lynette's wildlife sanctuary. Auntie Lynette had told us we could tag along with Evie, one of her graduate students who was studying birds, as long as we didn't get in the way. So Alexis and I were staying as quiet and out of her way as possible on our rock, watching a small flock of Australian red-tailed black cockatoos flutter in the trees above us. "Kira," Alexis whispered, "my bum is numb." "Shh," I whispered back, trying not to giggle. Luckily, Evie seemed undisturbed from where she watched the birds, switching between a fancy pair of binoculars and a camera propped on a tripod, taking pictures and taking notes. We were looking for a paradise parrot, a bird we knew would be difficult to find since, technically, it had been extinct for almost 100 years. But a few weeks ago, Alexis and I were positive we had spotted one in the sanctuary, and we were determined to find it again with Evie's help. So far, even after walking in the bush all day, we'd only managed to find a bunch of wallabies, a snake that made me jump out of my skin, and about 100 parrots that were not of the paradise kind. I watched the black cockatoos through my own small pair of binoculars. They were huge birds, bigger than most of the parrots we saw flying around, and all black except for a shock of red feathers on the underside of the tail. One of the cockatoos pulled a large nut off a branch and popped it open with its sharp beak. Crack! The shells dropped to the ground. "Cool," I said under my breath. Alexis groaned. "When can we go back? I'm starving." Doing science with Evie meant a lot of sitting and waiting, which for some of us, okay, for Alexis, wasn't the most thrilling activity we could do on the sanctuary. Even though I had only known Alexis for a month, since my mom and I first arrived here in Australia to visit my aunts, we had become close friends. And if I knew anything about this new friend of mine, it was that she liked action. She'd rather help her mom in the animal clinic, or feed the kangaroos, or play with the wombats than watch birds. For me, the idea that at any moment we could discover something, a bird or a frog or another kind of animal that we'd never seen before, was thrilling. Even though my whole life I had always wanted to be a vet and help wild animals like my great-aunt Mamie, I was beginning to wonder whether I wanted to be a scientist like Evie instead. Out of the sky came a loud bird, chit-chit-chit-chittering at the cockatoos and dive-bombing the big one happily eating nuts. The cockatoos took flight, their squawks echoing throughout the bush. "That was a male willy wagtail," Evie called to us, stepping away from her camera. "Very territorial species. He must have a nest around here. I've seen those guys even attack dogs when they get too close." She grabbed her water bottle and joined us on our rock. The little black and white bird sat on the branch above us now, its tail twitching. "Is it going to attack us?" Alexis asked. "Maybe we should go." Evie was sipping her water when she froze, seeing something. She brought her binoculars back to her face, and I felt a rush of excitement. Was this it? A big discovery? She walked silently back to her camera, and I held my breath.